Welcome everybody into the Oasis on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. This is a message for you. There is an integrated group of people going the sovereign way. This is a way that meanders above all known religions and spiritual ideologies, and we are held together by an inner spiritual bond that overshadows our minds, pours through our energy fields, and influences our movements in the world. Whatever we might call ourselves, heart-led leaders, apostles of Christ, devotees of love, planetary light workers, we recognize each other by the glint in our eyes, by our radiance and power, and by the wonders that follow us on this consecrated path. My name is Elizabeth. I am a philosopher and a spiritual director specializing in process theology and collective ascension. And I'm also the author of this book, The Sovereign Way, which is a spiritual thought experiment for our time. Now, somebody asked me the other day, you say we're on a consecrated path if we are world servers or if we are chosen apostles. What is consecrated? Well, consecration is when a manifest thing is transferred into the sacred dimension for a specific purpose or service. The word consecration literally means association with the sacred. So if you belong to this group of world servers, then the path before you is consecrated and protected with a grace and a mercy that transcends all understanding. Your job is just to believe it. Do you believe it? If so, put a little heart emoji in the comments wherever you're watching this and make that claim that you believe it. You are a chosen world server walking a consecrated path. Yet, although we are a coordinated network of world servers who intend to prove that love wins, each one of us must go a uniquely sovereign way. The sovereign way is your path of healing and mastery and service, or devotion, if you like. There is only one way that you can go, and that is with God. Now, you've known it in your heart for a long time, and yes, it is true that you've been developed and prepared for this extraordinary time that we're in, and you do have a specific set of experience, skills, giftings. You have a very specific tone in the spiritual harmony, if you like, a tone that defines your lineage, the path forward, a tone that does belong in its place in this great harmony. And it is true that you've already chosen to consciously participate with your own enlightenment. And you've consciously chosen to participate in the collective ascension of our human race. You've already decided to be good and do good and make a difference through your business, your ministry, and your daily simple living. And as we all agree, we are in a time of bizarre change, rapid plot twists, and vast shifts in global systems and paradigms. Everything is changing as our earth and our humanity wakes up from an ancient slumber and groans and sort of stretches and casts off the old layers and rises up into an age of love. So it is more important than ever to be able to discern the difference between truth and falsehood. It is more important than ever to have the mental and vibrational mastery to hold your sovereign poise, come what may. It is more important than ever to stand firm in your courage and freedom to be and do what God has designed, even if it doesn't look the way that your parents or peers or leaders say that it should, because you are paving the way and creating new pastures for love to grow in, for love to flourish. Now, let me tell you something I know about you, and I know about you because it's true about me. We know that our connection with God is not in a distant heaven locked behind gates of theological correctness, nor is it the end result of some sort of performance-driven ascension through dimensions of increasing purity and mastery. We know that love is the truth, and the truth is love, and day by day we're getting better at discerning what's not. We remember that we are free to know God independent of the structures that we've been born into or raised up through. We know that we have the spiritual worth and authority to be who we are and worship the way we do. And we seem differently from the rest of the world by our choice to live authentically. We follow the heart, dissolving generational highways and opening curious new paths far beyond the borders of the expectations that we were born into. We remember that every manifest thing is part of one unified field. And we remember that our mind, energy, and actions are authorized to heal the things of the natural world, like our bodies or our rivers. And what's more, we've made the decision, chosen, to be someone who is equipped and poised to act for love when it matters, dedicating our lives and our vocations to serve our human family and a shared vision for a brighter tomorrow. Is that you? Do you resonate with that? If you're in the Oasis, you can put your hand up if you resonate with that. And if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, put a heart emoji if you resonate with that. But things are getting complicated. How do you abide in inner peace when the world seems like a rapidly unfolding catastrophe? The soul of the world seems at war with itself. Ecosystems are shifting, media broadcasts are horrifying, millions are suffering, and we have no control. The dictators are ruling, races are being annihilated, deep fake information and distrust. Deep fake information is embedded within the siren's call to eternal confusion. The mainstream consciousness is losing hope and looking to you to hold them buoyant. We want to stay positive and high vibe, but for the first time in history, our collective consciousness has instant access to daily news of the very worst of human behavior all over the world. We want to be healthy, but every morsel of food comes with a list of potential contaminants and pathogens and negative effects on some part of the body. We want to shop mindfully, but food costs are rising, and every enterprise has some degree of affiliation with child slavery, toxic waste, animal abuse, or a host of other foul fallouts. We want to be righteous, but every core value conflicts with another, even though we know that the truth must transcend our human ideals. We want to take action and stand for what's right. But with so many urgent causes, we feel overwhelmed, we feel guilty, we feel helpless. We want to surrender and trust the flow of intuition, but we're always in the presence of 1 trillion dopamine addictions that hijack our decision-making and steer us into vanity, indulgence, and judgment for one another and ourselves. We want to keep our emotions balanced and our chakras clear, but we are constantly soaking up all sorts of scrambled frequencies, from chemtrails to solar flares and the neighbor's disgusting mood. And for all our good inner hygiene processes, we can't fully discharge the stress. We want to build meaningful friendships and communities. We want to experience enduring belonging. But we're so entitled to release what no longer serves and diagnose anything displeasing as toxic that we end up pouring weed killer all over the little seedlings of love, and we end up alone. We want to feel sovereign. We want to feel free to live, but we can't help being triggered by them. We want to feel like we're all divinely one, but we can't help being a bunch of humans. Nobody should be blamed for being an overthinker or overwhelmed in this day and age. We feel like we're locked in this endless equation of constantly weighing up one probability against another. We keep losing sight of the truth somewhere in a sandstorm of conflicting data. We feel pressured to make our dreams come true, to manifest abundance, to sanctify our diets, to purify our energy, to silence the mind, to choose the right path and avoid the many dangers, both in this world and the unseen dimensions beyond. And the law of attraction ensures that our pursuit of God is an impossible tangle of karmic negotiation, and there really isn't room for error at this critical point in human history. We crave true spiritual direction, but we don't trust our leaders. So we listen to hear God in that still small voice within, but with so many viewpoints and endless configurations of facts and methods, it's hard to know what to believe and how to reconcile what we thought we believed before. That's why we don't really trust ourselves either. Not only that, but there's this pungent, omnipresent smell of oppression in the air, an ominous undertone that they are controlling and oppressing us all, and we're running out of time. So to diagnose the problem with the human consciousness is the knowing of good and evil. The double bind of human consciousness, therefore, is I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. Maybe any attempt to create something beautiful is as naive as setting out with a bucket and a spade to build a little castle in that ruthless sandstorm of conflicting data. Listen carefully. The human collective is undergoing a historic paradigm shift as awareness spreads at the speed of light. The effect of this is like a great revelation, where substance is manifesting at an expanding experience of what is known. So some know that the world is falling, and some know that the world is resurrecting. And these possibilities are therefore intensifying in manifest reality, which creates a perceived bifurcation of reality, where some seemed doomed and some seem saved. This is a split reality. And even though it is true that you can manifest whatever you think you want, that is a very risky game as we seek out our own goals and ideals, and we end up creating 8 billion separate realities that are not unified. That is a very unstable state of consciousness. The reason we feel so close to doom right now, we have that ominous sense of doom. The reason we feel close to doom is because we remember it. Our ancestors warn us through the solemn songs in our own bones. Atlantis left a code to show us that evil can still reign despite advanced consciousness and a collective awareness of divinity and well-developed psychic and supernatural processes. So don't get up on your high horse because you're so aware. Today, we are very close to what happened with Atlantis. For our Atlantean forefathers, civilization accomplished such exquisite things that pride, glamour, and vanity expanded disproportionately as energetic attractor fields. And what that did was it stimulated the lower psychic powers to become abnormally split realities, to become abnormally developed. And the creative result of our hubris was multiple split realities, as each individual believed themselves an isolated I am consciousness, and they believed themselves the source of their own creative reality. This is what mainstream spirituality is teaching today. And this exposed the entire race to the spiritual warfare dynamics that were playing out in the lower astral realm. We were not prepared. It destroyed our world as we knew it. Deep and drowning floods that crushed the weight, the crushing weight of which we can still remember when we close our eyes and we think of the deep blue. That resonance, that remembering of doom is in our bones. Of course we're afraid of the end times. Of course we're afraid of the apocalypse, because we recognize the symptoms and we remember. But this is the truth. We chose a different way this time round. We made a new collective agreement with Supreme Source. This is Genesis chapter 9, verses 9 to 17. I promise you and all life, said God, that this will not happen again. Never again will the waters destroy us. I am positioning a rainbow above you as proof of this promise. Never again. The point of our Savior, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, has been to infuse the particularized substance of creation with his infinite love for what is. He's not just a role model. He's not just a life coach. He's not just do what I do and walk this way. He was literally infusing the substance of creation with an alchemy so pristine, so divine, we can't even understand it. The mystery of salvation is beyond logic. But he set a new creative standard for human experience. As you now, as a chosen one, as you now carry all of his authority, that rainbow effect of his outpouring, you carry that into every cubic inch of space-time that you move through. You are walking mercy. Now love is both the motivator and the manifested result. And whatever warfare is unfolding in the lower astral dimensions may not disrupt the course of our ascension. Do you know what that means? Do you understand what that means? It means that we are saved. It means that we are saved. And when we all relax into that faith and act as if it is done, then we will know peace. In the last 2,000 years, we have progressed at a phenomenal rate, even as the very worst is purged from our DNA. Centuries of purging, in fact, and purging through the pungent rot and shame of the Dark Ages. Do you remember that? I remember that in my bones. Purging through the industrial ages of greed and conquest. Purging through our modern ages today of rage, competition, crisis, and warfare. And yes, we will still be purging in the ages to come of glamour and artificial intelligence and quantum manipulation and split deep fake realities. And even still, as a family of humans, we love now more than we ever have before. We love each other more than the Atlanteans did. That's true. Zillions of tiny acts of kindness occurring every day is proof of that. We are not divided. Humanity is going to make it. This is Luke chapter 17, verses 20 to 21. Once, when being asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God would come, Jesus said, "The coming of the kingdom is not something that can be observed, nor will people say, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is,' because the kingdom of God is within us and in our midst." Within and in our midst. We are in love. We are in love. We draw it out into manifestation as we weave it into the world through our choices, through our movements, through our interactions, and through all our works. This is, in fact, the Great Commission spoken by Jesus to his disciples. Most people know about the Golden Rule, the one commandment that Jesus said was sovereign over all others. Be love. Love God, love yourself, and love others. And that rule is enough to live a sovereign life. But there is another commission given specifically to the population of actively awakened world servers. You have an operative commission to not just be love, but to go out and do love, specifically to liberate those who are lost in that ruthless desert. This requires discipline, development, and mastery. Because our job in the midst of all that chaos is to know the prevailing agreement. Love wins. We've already agreed that at the Christic level. So this is already done. And all we're doing now is weaving that manifestation out. So your job is to know that prevailing agreement. Love wins. And act accordingly. This is how we reveal the kingdom of heaven that is already in our midst. Not just deep inside me somewhere, but literally in the space between you and me. The only way that we can fulfill this assignment is if we have the freedom to follow God's unique path for us, a sovereign way, free of influence and manipulation, where his presence fills us up and overflows regardless of whose ego is trying to control the world within and around. That intimate relationship with God is the simplest alchemy in the world. And peace spreads like ripples on the surface of a cool oasis pond in the midst of that forever sandstorm. I have good news. There are already millions of us who are animated by the waters in the oasis, approximately 6% of the world's population. That is about 146 million people are living peacefully and creating heaven on earth, as we agreed to do when we were called by Jesus Christ. Many stay in the safety of the abundant growth and endless provision in the oasis, living good and simple lives all over the world. And many head back out into the sandstorm to seek out the lost wanderers and give them a lens to see the sovereign way home. You are one of them. You are one who's been called as a world server. You've been called to the Great Commission to baptize all those lost into the way of love and to give them a lens to see the sovereign way home. This book, The Sovereign Way, is a lens. It offers a simple model through which to see the world and interpret what's going on around us. It is a thought experiment for the leaders of our time. It's a liberated and deeply hopeful experience of spiritual development to prepare you for what is to come. Because even though it is done, it's not quite done in process reality. We are still weaving that reality, that new agreement, that love wins. We're still weaving that into manifestation. The book has a new language with simple diagrams, and it leads your mind across 8 masteries that you will need for the upcoming assignment in the unfolding human epic. The book is an ontology, an organization of words and ideas to describe the characteristics of this ineffable experience of ascending life with God. It is a thought experiment to help you as a world server to stay sovereign, to stay in love and on mission. And this thought experiment can be done by anyone, no matter what spiritual path you're on. After all, ontology exists only to connect timeless dots and reconcile your heart's true intelligence about who God is and what's going on here. Now, what happens next for you will happen whether you read this book or not. A woomph will occur in a special sovereign way that only you will ever experience. But even though anything might happen, there are certain things that must, and this book is the thought experiment that prepares the mind, the body, and the vibration for what will come. The pages themselves are soaked with a living language and a vibration that you'll recognize. The knowledge is arranged into models and ideas that join those dots about the dots of what you already know and help to bring cohesion to how you view the world. The result is first the freedom and clarity to be happy in your expanding place within a much larger design and unfolding human epic. And next, to mobilize your energy for the Great Commission, resonating through the fabric of reality, the Great Commission that you're already aware that you've been called to. You can get the book on Amazon. There's a link wherever you're watching this video. The fundamental message that I wanted to bring today was, it's done. We're saved. We have work to do, but we can only do that work in a relaxed and poised state, walking the sovereign way. It takes discipline, it takes development, and it takes faith in the living Jesus Christ. If you're still watching, I'd like to invite you to join our group, the Oasis. We are a fellowship of spiritual leaders from all over the world. We've got people today calling in from Wales, from England, from Sweden, from Texas, from Iowa, on her way to Peru. We are a phenomenal bunch of people with exquisite experience and expertise. And we are a group experience of spiritual refreshment, community and collaboration, and up-calibration of energy. And you're welcome to come and join us. On Mondays, we gather for a teaching from the Sovereign Way, and we gather for a group mastermind, including prayer. And often we'll have a focused workshop or a training session. And every day we have space to synthesize and formulate what's going on in our lives and reflect together. You may even contribute to a growing collection of video tutorials and meditations, converse in a hive mind of brilliant, loving people living simple and sovereign lives. The membership is only $40 a month, and we'd love to have you. And if you're ready to come and join us, comment in YouTube or Facebook with a heart emoji, and then we'll come and find you. One of us will come and find you. So thank you very much for watching today. If you watched all the way through, well done. Now I'm going to close off the live stream. We're going to open the table here in the Oasis to share revelations and questions that have been seeded in us and to work together as an integrated and coordinated group of world servers to resolve, to seek resolution to some of those questions and to empower each other for the path forward. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the Oasis.